almost forgot it was Halloween, and I have the perfect story for Halloween. I used to work at a residential facility for individuals with developmental disabilities, and one of the therapists decided that she wanted to have a sensory thing for Halloween. And what it was she created a table full of all these different dishes and stuff. And she blindfolded everybody and she had them come through and put their hands in everything. And all these dishes were food. They were like little sausages with jelly on them and spaghetti and just anything that you could think of that would maybe feel gross or feel like the insides of like just anything creepy. And she probably had like 20 different things. She did an amazing job. Just jello, just random things. Everybody loved it. Every single resident that lived there came through and did it. So everybody had their hands in everything. I'm getting to the point of this because it gets really gross. And a lot of the staff did it as well. And then some people had kids there for the day because it was like Halloween. And so there's like kids. So by the end of all this, a couple hundred people's hands had been in all this food. She was notorious for having her own Halloween parties. So she took all of it home and she took it to her own Halloween party for also a sensory thing at the Halloween party. But unfortunately, she didn't make it clear to everyone that this is what it was. And so some people arrive late. And I happened to arrive late with a friend, and he missed the announcement that this was for just hands only, don't eat this. And I walk into the room and my buddy is eating this food, like the sausages. He's eating them and they're seeing him do this. And they're like, don't say anything. I'm like, of course I'm going to say, this is gross. Like I'm a little bit of a germaphobe and everybody's had their hands in this. And so I was like, you can't eat that. And he's like, why? And I was like, and I explained to him where it had been and what had happened to it. And he just, like, he got, well, it was so gross. And of course he got me. He's like, why on earth? Like, to the other two women that were in there. And they're like, well, we didn't know what to do because you had already eaten it when we walked in and we, like, didn't want to freak you out. And then she had to come in here and blab and tell you what was going on. But that's my gross Halloween story. He was pretty geeked out. He was pretty upset. He tried to, like, physically force one of them to, like, eat one of the sausages. And she was having none of that. Oh, that is so gross. Happy Halloween.
So today alone, I've seen 2 videos about how Gen Z is basically crashing out over women wearing sexy Halloween costumes. The reason is because men aren't getting sex anymore. They aren't getting sex anymore because women simply are not giving it away. And it's not because women don't want to give it away. Right? It's because there's no one worth giving it away to. And as more and more men get indoctrinated into incel culture, right? Specifically Gen Z, because they are a very vulnerable group. They hate that women exist who they do not have access to. In my opinion, Gen Z is a very, very vulnerable group who is very easily indoctrinated into red pill culture. I feel like Gen Z exists right at the intersection of progression and retrogression. Retrogression is the more enticing thing, right? Because they have a better marketing team. When I say retrogression, I basically mean conservatism as it exists today. Conservatism sort of promises Gen Z men and all men, but again, Gen Z, I believe, is the more vulnerable of the groups and more easily indoctrinated into conservative culture. Gen Z men are lonely, right? Very, very lonely. Because they exist at the intersection between progressivism and retrogression. They have a very unique mindset that lands somewhere between the two. They feel the pressure to be more progressive, but they simply do not have the skills to be likable. They don't have the tools to be likable, right? And so because they don't have those tools, they are relying on conservatism to take away some of that work. And conservatism promises to hand them things without them having to do the work. Conservatism tells men that they just have to be men. in order to deserve women. You just have to be a man. And being a man, it you have to fall into these very specific categories, right? Men know that that sucks. They know that that sucks. Having to try and fit into these very specific boxes of masculinity. They hate it. But there is payoff. There is payoff. And so they're biting their tongue. And they're waiting it out. I mean, aside from, this conversation about Gen Z, look at men in general. Black men specifically, bragging about the fact that Black women won't have access to resources in order to feed their children. The payoff is that they think these women will be desperate enough to want to be with them again. That's the payoff. They've been waiting for this moment, but they're in for a big surprise. They're in for a hella surprise when they realize that there is no payoff at the end of all this. There's no payoff. There isn't. You got to do the work. Nobody's going to drop a woman into your lap. And a woman's circumstances are certainly not. That might have been a thing that happened in the past, but that's not a thing that's going to happen now. Because women have ample resources outside of what the government is giving to them. We have community. And that's the thing a lot of men lack, specifically Black men. Anyway, yeah, Gen Z's a fucking mess. They're not getting vagina anymore, and they're horny. The beautiful woman wearing the Little Bo Peep costume with her tushy out is reminding him that he's lonely and sexless. And that pisses him off.
If you don't control your mind, someone else will. Women have to learn how to honor their intuition. That's a gift to women from the Divine Mother, from a higher power, from Source. It's a gift to help us navigate through this world, right? Those inner knowings, those fleeting thoughts, you have to sharpen that. Because if you don't, you will lose your way. You won't gain your way, right? And men know, even if they don't consciously know, they know that that inner knowing, that women's intuition, that spiritual connection we have with Source, because we are Source, is our weapon in life. This is why men develop things like religion, right? Patriarchy, things that fuck with women psychologically. So, you develop your intuition by honoring it and not allowing men to convince you that it's all in your head. Because men do that. Men do it to me. As intelligent as I am, men will try to dismiss what I'm saying or make it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about. Because some things just cannot be proven, but it is so. And so they develop things like the system of degrees and schooling, which doesn't always validate things. Going to school and passing doesn't necessarily mean that you're intelligent or that you know what you're talking about. But that's a way to invalidate women's natural gifts. So anytime I talk about male nature or anything that doesn't feel good to men or they don't want women to hear, they ask me, do I believe in God? Or they leave Bible scriptures in the comments, or they tell me what God said, right? That's a tactic to keep women in control. Because women are very conservative. Women want to follow the rules. This is why men like to put women in supervisory positions, because women are going to enforce rules because they want to follow them. This is why women will tell on you for not following the rules. That's how women are, right? So religion is an easy way to keep women under control. But fortunately for me, I didn't grow up with the dogma of religion. I probably been to church maybe 5 times when I was a child. And I only remember it because it was like Easter and I had to dress up. I don't know, do kids still do that? Dress up for Easter? Anyway, so when men say that to me, it has no effect on me because I didn't grow up under the mind control of religion. So I don't view the Bible and God as a tool to control and manipulate me. I use it to control and manipulate my world. The Bible is a grimoire. Quoting Proverbs and Psalms to me doesn't make me feel like I'm doing something wrong. But that's what men do. It's their go to. They do it to me all the time. And it's a psychological thing. They see my name, Lilith, right? Babylon, the Queen of Sheba. All of these things play a role on how men view me. And so their best weapon formed against me or what they think is religion and quoting Bible scriptures. That shit has no effect on me at all. I don't think God is what man says God is because I don't live in fear the way man lives in fear. So I don't believe that God is sitting somewhere up there waiting to punish us for the free will he gave us. I don't believe that karma is people being punished. The only thing that's happening, people are receiving the results or consequences from their actions. That's it. God is not going to seek vengeance on your behalf because you don't like what somebody did to you. That's not how that works. Right? So you may see somebody suffer something or something bad happen to them. It wasn't because God was up there and said, you know what? They did that thing to that person. I'm going to just punish them. That's not how that works. God is not going to punish me for having a mind, but I will get punished for not having one. The most powerful weapon against humans is psychological attacks. The media, propaganda, social media, anything that penetrates the mind is the most powerful attack. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. And because women live in a constant state of fear of being punished. Why do women live that? Because women live in a constant state of guilt and shame. And men use it to attack you. That's why they shame single mothers. That's why they're having a ball with women possibly losing their food stamps. This is why women, try to punish women, who don't live in a religious way. There's a lot going on with the mental of women, gaslighting, all these things that when men see that shit doesn't work on me and I see beyond it, they start asking me about the Bible or they ask me if I believe in God. Of course I do. I am she. The more secure you become in your woman's intuition, your gifts. See, men say things like, oh, if there's women intuition, why do you get caught up with men who are not good for you or end up in certain situations? Because life requires experience. And just because you have gifts, that doesn't mean you're going to not have bad experiences, which is not really bad. It's just lessons. We all go through things for our journey, but people will try to make you believe that if your life is not perfect, then what you have is not working. And it works on women because women believe there's like some magic spell that's going to absolve them for having experiences in life. You cannot read your way through life. You cannot watch YouTube videos through life, your way through life. You have to have experiences. So you take what I give you and you go out in the world and you use it, you test it, you sharpen yourself. Right? Men know how fearful women are, and it's ingrained, right? It's the subtle things, it's the insidious, you know, spells that women are placed under, all because they want control of this. Because where the mind goes, the body flows. Their number one weapon is the Bible and religion, and to have you believe that if you don't live a certain way, that God is going to punish you. They've done it to black people for hundreds of years, and men do it to women, right? Fortunately for me, again, that's not something that I had to unlearn. I never lived with a dogma of religion. The shit doesn't affect me. But I know that there is a higher power, and I know the power of words. I know the effect that I have on people. I know the seeds that I plant in the minds of people. I know where my power is. And when, and only men do this. Only men talk about the Bible. They want you to go back to your Bible when you start to recognize things about them, because that's how they have a hold on you, through religion and the control of your mind. Men don't want an aware woman, because an aware woman is going to see him for who he is, and then she's going to choose whether she wants to deal with him or not. A lot of men don't have the luxury, as I say before, right? Pick, choose, and refuse is something that I learned from my father, right? Most men don't have the luxury to pick, choose, and refuse. So they have to rob you of your ability to choose, to think and to choose, so that they can have access to you. If women exercise the power of choice, most men would be rejected. And men know this. If women started, when women, because women are already starting to do this, when they start really picking and choosing men from just liking them and them being good people, most men will be rejected. Most men depend on you not having anything. That's why they're celebrating women not being able to get government assistance. They depend on you being less than them. They don't want a whole and complete woman, because a whole and complete woman requires the man to be whole and complete, and men don't want to do that. They just want to fulfill their purpose. And for many of them, their purpose is to just have some sort of power over something, whether it be, women and children, because they don't have power in the world. Most men are powerless. Most men will perish powerless. Nobody will know most men in the world. They will perish, and their family will put them in a hole in the ground, and dirt will be thrown in their body, and nobody will care. That's why they need kids, because most men, nobody will know them. Most men will not make a mark in the world, but I already have. Women from all over the world log in to see my content. Australia, Germany, Africa, right? All parts of Europe. I have what most men will never have in life. And so this is why they come under my posts quoting Bible, because they need for me to get back to where they think women should be. And that's the only place, when women are in that lowly place, that's the only time most men will have any power. They don't have it to compete with powerful men in the world. So they need to control women. Observe how most men respond to women who have lifted the veil, women who see things for what they are, women who are tapped in or are tapping into their divine feminine power. Observe how the men act to those women. It's a direct threat to them having access to women, because the fact is, the higher a woman ascends, the less attractive most men are. It's easier for an ascended woman to be by herself. Most men cannot live without women, literally and figuratively. They will literally and figuratively perish without women. And in order for most men to have access to women, women have to be less than mentally, spiritually. Men like women how they are. Men like broken women. Men like uncontrollable women. They like that because it's predictable. It's our raw feminine way, right? Destructive. They like that because they know what to do with that. Many men don't know what to do with a woman who has evolved out of that because there's not a lot of women like that, and they don't know how to handle that. They feel raw. They feel seen. You can't save those women. Those women, we saved ourselves. And so they don't know where they fit. And so they need for you to go back to what they know. There's a lot of games being played with you psychologically. You know how many men told women to not follow me? You know how many women come to me and say, there's this man and he showed, like men will show my page to women and say, don't follow her because they don't want you to start using this. Because when you start using this, you start rejecting them. That's just the way that it is. And it's not about disliking or hating men. It's not about misandry. I'm beyond that. I've never been a misandrist, but that's child's play. When you evolve, you just start seeing humans for who they are. And then it's no fantasy there. It's nothing to desire or chase. You start dealing with men on a different level. And most men can't handle that. Most men will never ascend. Most people will never self-actualize. If that's most people, then most people need for you to be at the bottom where they are. This is why ascension, women have to rid themselves of male-centeredness. Because when you ascend, you're going to start seeing men differently. And it'll create a disdain for you within you, or it'll create an indifference in you. The goal is to be indifferent. You never want how men are to affect who you are and what you are, right? A young woman told me yesterday she wishes that she could dress up like me or, be like me, what she sees. And I said, don't let this place turn you into a man. Don't let this place turn you into what men want. Don't let, being around men, being in environments with men, being in a world with men, chip away at who you are supposed to be as a woman. That's what happens to women because women look for acceptance and understanding and validation from men. They cannot give you that. They don't have the power to. Men want to have the power to give and take from you. They don't have that power. But many of you give it to them because of religion, patriarchy, insecurities, and all of these things that are psychological attacks on women. Once you lift a veil, you start seeing things for what they are. And then you start playing your own games.
Hi, please keep me anonymous. I never thought I would find myself in such a painful and embarrassing situation. A wife begging for forgiveness from the woman who destroyed her marriage. My husband and I have been together for 7 years, and I thought nothing could break us. We had our ups and downs, but I never imagined he would betray me like that. A few months ago, I found out he was cheating with a woman I knew from the neighborhood. At first, I tried to stay calm. I asked him if it was true, but he denied everything. He said I was insecure and imagining things, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. He started hiding his phone, coming home late, and smelling of perfume that wasn't mine. Then one day, I saw the messages, sweet words, voice notes, and their plans. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Out of anger, I went to confront her. I didn't want to fight, I just wanted the truth. But when I got there, she laughed at me and called me names. She said I should learn to take care of my man instead of chasing after him. She swore at me and said my husband doesn't love me, that he only pitied me. Those words cut deep. I couldn't hold it anymore, so I shouted back. We ended up arguing in the street while people watched. That night, my husband came home very angry. I thought he would defend me or at least feel bad, but instead, he shouted at me. He said I embarrassed him. He told me I had no right to go there and that I made things worse. Then he said something I will never forget. He told me to go back and apologize to her. I thought he was joking, but he was serious. He shouted at me until I cried. He said if I respected him, I would fix what I had done. I begged him not to make me do it, but he said if I didn't, I could leave his house. The next morning, I went. I was tired, broken, and ashamed. When I got to her place, she was sitting outside with her friends. My heart was beating fast. I softly said sorry. She looked at me, smiled, and said, "That's what happened when you can't satisfy your man." We all laughed while I walked away shaking. But when I got home, my husband acted like nothing happened. He hugged me and said, "Now you've done the right thing." I didn't say anything. I just stood there. That day, I realized something. Love should never make you lose your dignity. What makes it worse is that I am not working. I depend on him for everything. At home, they washed their hands on me. No one cares about me anymore. They think I made my own bed, so I must sleep in it. My husband knows this and he uses it to control me. He knows I have nowhere to go, and that's what gives him power. Sometimes I lie next to him and wonder what kind of person I have become. I used to think marriage meant fighting for each other, not begging for place in someone's heart. I forgave him, but I don't think I would ever forgive myself for that walk of shame. What do you all think about this story? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I got the story from Abuti Zach. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Men are always going to cheat because women see cheating as an inconvenience to overcome and not as a good enough reason to end a relationship or a marriage with a man.
I'm married to her. I'm cheating, obviously. But then I had this span in which I said, I stopped. I ain't doing it no more. Because I don't get nothing out of it like that anyway. Along comes this real estate agent. One of my friends was getting a house and said, "Hey, come with me, come see the house." All right, cool. I see this real estate agent. I get out of my truck. Man, I'm blown away. I'm 2 years out the game. But I see her, I'm like, man, let me just. And it was something about her. I said, if I keep her card, this is going to be a problem. So I went home, I ripped the card up, and I threw it away. Because I said, I don't want to go down that road again.
Yeah, I've been there, done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as luck would happen, we ended up going back, me and my friend, we ended up going back to a restaurant. I think it was like around the time of closing. She was in there. I couldn't pull up at that point. Man, I, with my married self, got into a full-blown affair. Like, this is a girl, I don't know what's up with her, but my heart is being pulled to her in a way that I can't explain. And I know how horrible infidelity is, and I know how tough cheating is, and I am that bastard and that mother, I'm all that, okay? Let's just throw that out there.
Like, all of the above. I'll take it.
Man, I ended up, my first child I had with this girl. My first child, while I'm married, I had a baby with this girl. And I'm like, oh man. So I went home, I told my wife, listen, this happened, with the full understanding that she gonna be like, yeah, I can't be with you no more. I'm out. She cried for 16 hours. And she said, nah, I don't want you to go nowhere. And I stayed. I couldn't be the a-hole, to cheat and then bounce.
Right.
And so, at least she would need to be the one. So I stayed. And of course, that real estate agent, it hurt her. Mm-hmm. And now I got a son. Mm-hmm. And my heart is just thrown. But then I ain't never had no kids with this one. So now I got to try to fix it. Mm-hmm. So now we work to have a child. Got my daughter, Kayla. she comes into the world. One evening, I don't know what happened. Something happened. Clearly it happened. Got my other son, Cameron.
Uh-huh.
And I said, that's it.
That's it.
And I'm out. And I left. And I left, and I ended up marrying that real estate agent.
So
And
it did work out.
she is my wife today of 16 years. Been with her for 20.
This video is going to be long, so please just listen to what this man is talking about. In case you didn't know, Band-Aid babies don't save marriages. That's what I call them. Whenever people are married and they have no children and they decide that if they have a child, it's going to bring them closer together, it's going to save their marriage or relationship, I call that a Band-Aid baby. You have a woman that not only got cheated on, but the husband was so irresponsible that he got another woman pregnant while he was married. And her way to solve that was to stay married to this man. Just for her to give this man a child after he's already impregnated somebody else, just for him to leave her. Men do not reward your efforts for taking them back from cheating. They do not appreciate you doing that for them. Men are never going to be grateful and show you that they are grateful because you accepted cheating and because you allowed cheating to happen. Every time you allow a man to get away with cheating, you are telling him that it is okay for him to do it. He can have his cake and eat it too because you haven't put this man in a predicament where he has had to suffer and face any consequences. The only way that men learn lessons is through hard fucking consequences. Men do not learn the lessons when you prevent them from getting the poor experience that would be the outcome of them learning the consequences of their said actions. Women get so deep in love with these men that y'all have a high level of empathy where you don't want these men to fucking meet the level of consequence that they deserve to have. Imagine how much easier her life would have been had she just divorced this man as soon as he cheated. She wouldn't be having to worry about children, or at least not having children with this man. And the thing about it too is that this is how you know that men don't have any incentive to not cheat. Because listen how comfortable this man is telling this story. Because men don't have to deal with any ridicule or any shame from cheating. At least not to the level and degree that women do. I mean, this man is literally talking about how he cheated on his wife and got another woman pregnant and left that woman and started a whole new family. He's talking about this like how you talk about the time that was spent with your family on Thanksgiving or on Christmas. Because men understand that there is no incentive for them to be faithful. There is no incentive for them to be faithful when they understand that you are still going to stay around when they cheat. What would make them want to be faithful to you when you are constantly sticking around while they're cheating? What lesson are you teaching them when it comes to their level of infidelity? You rather deal with someone that wants to deal with someone else than to just deal with yourself. That's really what it comes down to. You rather deal with somebody who wants to deal with somebody else than to be single and alone and just deal with yourself. The harsh reality is that as a woman, your love is never going to be so good that a man's not going to cheat on you. The experience that you give a man is not going to be so good that he is not going to cheat on you. Redwood says it all the time. You don't want me. You don't, these women, these men need women. They don't need you. There's nothing unique or exceptional about you specifically that would make these men have a light bulb go off where they would want to change their behavior. All they need is women that are going to be stupid and constantly take them back and constantly play into this whole thing and this whole charade.
Trying to figure out what's everyone's issue with Megan and like why everybody keeps choosing to beef with Megan when for the most part it seems like she doesn't really say anything to anybody, right? Like it doesn't seem like she's like doing any sneaky shit to anybody. Like she's literally just chilling, but somehow, some way, people find a way to be funny towards her. Like unless there's some insane shit going on behind the scenes, she's done very little to warrant the kind of hate that she gets and like the way that people are just like nasty towards her for no reason. Like we're watching it play out right now in real time with this whole Glorilla situation. And I know the argument that everyone's gonna make is like, well, if it's everybody else against her, then she must obviously be the problem. And it's like the kind of people that she beef with are so loud and so big mouthed that had she done something funny towards them, they would have aired it out. And instead, what we see every time is like give out these kind of bullshit half ass stories, or people who are not even like Glorilla, not brave enough to like straight up beef with her, but instead is just running around doing a lot of funny stuff that's obviously very shady towards her, right? I feel like it'd be different if they all just came on the internet and were like, we hate her, she did this, and the third. But like, that's not the case at all. It seems like it's just like a lot of random animosity towards her. And what I'm really gathering from it, from what I'm watching, and if I had to guess as to why I think this keeps happening to Megan in general, and like I'm taking it from my own personal experience, and this is gonna sound kind of obnoxious of me, but like if I'm like looking at myself and like the way that I feel people treat me and talk about me like in real life, right? I think that when people think that things come too easy to you, that if you're the kind of person who kind of skates by, who no matter what, in the end, things work out on your behalf, right? Like no matter how bad things get, you seem to win, you come out on top, right? Like no matter how bad the situation is, at the other end of it, you end up in a better place than you ever were before, right? As we saw happen with Megan time and time and time again, I think that that makes people resentful towards you. I think if we're using like someone like Nicki Minaj, for example, right, and this idea that like Megan was brave enough to go to war with her record label, right, a war that she shouldn't have won, and instead, when after all that and after her record label tried to end her career, she ended up winning and in the end got to own her masters and came out even better than she ever did, right? And Nicki Minaj, she was signed to a bad deal and her record label was doing her dirty, and she sat there quietly and just took it because that's what she felt she had to do, right? She felt like the correct thing to do was to just take it on the chin and play the role and be the nice guy and just eat it, and in the end, she would be rewarded for it, and that's not how it worked out for her. So that animosity towards Megan is coming from this place of being like, how come I took the hard road? You know what I'm saying? Like I kept my head down and I took the punishment and I took it on the chin, and you got to throw a tantrum, and then because you threw a tantrum, things just happened to work out for you. Because to them, it's coming off like it seems like no matter what, she gets her way, right? It seems like no matter what, everything is just so easy for her. When I'm willing to bet, if you talk to Megan about it, Megan's like, I'm fighting for my fucking life over here. Like this shit is hard as fuck. Like I just seems like the only reason why I keep winning and why I keep coming on the side is I just happen to be resilient as fuck. I just happen to be the bitch who won't give up. But like, what? None of this has been easy. So I feel like all this animosity that they have towards Megan is really like about them feeling like everything just goes too easy to Megan, right? Even using, for example, like their bodies, right? And like the fact that almost every single girl in this industry, specifically like in the rap genre, right, spent millions of dollars to get their bodies done, right? To have a body that came to Megan very naturally. Like that's just like another example. It's this thing of like everything coming to Megan kind of what for them appears to be very easily, and they're like, and that kind of makes them like, why is it to you? Why is it all so easy for you? And again, it's a very hard and difficult industry, and instead of like looking around and being like, how can we change this so that this industry isn't so hard so that it's easier for the next girl, instead they're all turning around and like pointing fingers at Megan. And it's like, it's your, like, it's not even that it's your fault. It's like it almost comes off as like you're the favorite, like you're hip hop's favorite, you're the industry's favorite, everything is so easy for you, everything just comes to you so easily, everyone loves you so much, no matter what you do, it all works out for you. And it's kind of like their siblings and their children who feel like she's being treated like she's a favorite, and that's where all this animosity and this kind of sly of like trying to dig at her and trying to bring her down and trying to give her a hard time comes from.
The billionaires and ultra wealthy in America and around the world are relishing in their reality, because we have middle and lower class citizens bickering amongst themselves rather than collectively turning their focus, their frustration, their anger, their exhaustion towards the billionaires. If we're all gonna agree, cash rules everything around us. Money drives everything in this world we've created. Why are y'all getting mad at poor people? Like, I just want these gripes that people bring up to make sense at the very least. Poor people are not your enemy. The reasoning behind why you haven't been able to achieve whatever the fuck you set out to achieve is not because of fucking poor people. As I said in a recent video, when it comes to funding whatever the fuck you're trying to fund, is it poor people that are slowing you down? Or could it possibly be the ultra wealthy, the fucking multi-billionaires that could fund your goals 10,000 times over and not even notice? Y'all talk about the price of groceries and the price of gas and inflation and price gouging and corruption and how 70% of Americans are paycheck. Y'all talk about all this shit. Money. We need Doge because the radical leftists wasted all of the fucking money, all this bullshit, money complaints. Doge is going to save us money. Donald Trump is a great businessman and tariffs are going to bring us money. All this dumbass shit y'all say, everything that comes out of your mouth. Money. All the immigrants came here and took all of our jobs, so we can't make any money. So if we deport the immigrants, we'll go get jobs and have money. All of your complaints are centered around fucking money. So if you're going to sit here and bitch and moan about money all the fucking time, why are you also mad at the people that don't have any? Do you see how that works? Do you see how that makes sense? Do you see why billionaires love the fact that you're mad at poor people instead of them? If you're mad because you don't have enough money, who the fuck are you going to get it from? Who are you more likely to get it from? The people on SNAP benefits? Or Google Donald Trump's fucking net worth. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. It is such a frustrating level of stupidity because my life is impacted by it too, right? We go to work, 40-hour work week. Some people work 60 hours. Some people work more than 60 hours a fucking week. Every week we get out of bed. The soles of our feet touch the fucking ground of the floor in the morning when we wake up to go chase fucking money. Everybody moves for goddamn money. But tomorrow, when people are facing losing their SNAP benefits and not being able to fucking eat, there are literal idiots across the internet saying, good, stop taking my taxpayer dollars to fund your Oreo addiction. We're dealing with that level of stupidity. They are so indoctrinated in their cult mentality. Mike Johnson is a perfect example of fuck the rules and the job I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in this cult and I'm gonna be loyal to Donald Trump no matter what. Right now they're talking about just getting rid of the rules entirely, and you don't need 60 votes to pass the legislation. They're basically just saying fuck the rules. We don't need them votes no way. We're gonna do what the fuck we want to do. Just like me and Chris Valencia and thousands of other fucking creators have been trying to scream at y'all this whole time. They don't give a fuck about the rules, and actively, the American citizens, the people that are supposed to unite, red and blue, merge together and finally understand that this is us first versus the fucking billionaires. No. MAGA wants to be mad at poor people that don't have any money because MAGA also doesn't have the finances to implement their goals or their dreams or whatever the fuck. Kash Patel is flying his girlfriend around on a fucking plane using taxpayer dollars for the fuel and all types of shit. Y'all don't get mad at that. You get mad at poor people. I don't give a fuck if there is a single mother of 3 mooching off the government for some goddamn Little Debbie snacks for her kids. I don't give a fuck about that. Give her the whole goddamn 18-wheeler Mack truck full of fucking junk food. I don't give a shit. Because the people in charge can buy 18 million 18-wheelers for fucking fun, light them all on fire, for fuck all, wake up the next day, buy 10,000 yachts, and not even feel it. And y'all are mad because in your delusional fucking world, somebody on SNAP benefits wants a goddamn bag of candy. Y'all fucking suck, dude.
I get that a lot of people don't appreciate how open and honest I am when I talk about the sexual abuse that I endured as a little girl perpetrated by my father. And that's obvious by a recent video where so many people are like, trigger warning, like, where's the trigger warning? And the comments that say, why would you share something like this? Well, it's obvious that 99% of y'all have not ever had to experience something so tragic as a young child, and it shows. Also, did anybody give me a trigger warning when my dad decided to rape me 30, 40 plus times when I was 10, 11 years old? We don't get to blame a child for the way that their brain processes experiences and getting jealous because their dad takes their sisters to rape them instead of raping her. As a child, a 10, 11-year-old, imagine your relationship with your father, a healthy relationship with your father? Did you not ever crave that attention, that love, that affection from your father? Well, this happens even with fathers who are sexually abusing their children, children that don't know good touch versus bad touch, right versus wrong. And that's why I believe it should be federally mandated that we educate our elementary and middle school children. We should not be sending home permission slips for a child to sit in a class and be educated what a good touch is, what a bad touch is, when you should tell somebody. Because do you think if they had this program when I was 10, 11 years old and they sent that permission slip home with me, do you think my father would have signed that? Do you think my father would have wanted me to be educated on the terrible, tragic things that he was doing to me? The good thing about social media is that we have control. We hear something triggering, we hear something we don't like, we can swap to another video. As a little girl who is living in a home experiencing sexual abuse every day by her father, we don't have that control. I had absolutely no control over what my father was doing to me. So you could get upset about a trigger warning. You could get upset about how detailed I talk about my sexual abuse. Because maybe you can't relate, but I assure you there are others who can. And the sad reality of it is that about 1 in 20 of each one of you who say, oh my God, why would you talk about this? 1 in 20 of you know somebody, have a friend, have a family member who has experienced or went through the same thing as a child, and you may never know about it. So I'm encouraging each and every one of you to be kind. You never know what somebody else has had to live through. You don't know what somebody has had to survive, and you definitely don't know how hard somebody had to fight to overcome and survive such tragic things that happened to them as a little child.
So I know most of you have heard the story of Casanova. He was a notorious womanizer, and he believed in his con so much that every woman he got involved with, he felt like he loved that woman genuinely, and that she was the only woman he was ever going to love. Now, the problem is not Casanova. The problem is the women who were with Casanova. Casanova had so many women, and those women, each and every of those women thought that because she's the one with Casanova now, she's somehow going to tame him. In fact, the thing that made Casanova more endearing was the fact that women wanted to tame him. Like every woman that came stuck around Casanova, she thought that maybe she's the one now who will make him stay, who will make him want to have one woman and one woman only. And the reason why we say that Casanova was the greatest con is because a good con artist is supposed to get to a place where they can believe their own con. And that is why Casanova believed that every woman he got involved with was unique, and that he deeply, deeply loved and cared for her. And that is why it was easy for it to sell. And most women today, you're encountering Casanovas in your own life. The greatest thing you can misgiving you can ever have for yourself is when you meet a guy and you think, this one is going to stay to me. You know, he has multiple baby mamas, he has had multiple women, but I'm the one who's going to keep him with my nyash. This nyash is going to make him stay. You know, I am very good in the sack, so I am going to make him stay. That this, my cooking skills, I am grounded. I know of several people. There's a woman who called another woman just to tell her, you know, you have to stop calling a person X because he's now with me, and look at me, I am well educated, I have a business, I am successful, and you work in a massage parlor, whatever, you don't have money, the only thing that you have is Nya, she doesn't want to have anything to do with you. I said, that's rubbish. That's rubbish, because she thinks that this man is with her because, oh, she's accomplished and he's also accomplished, so he's always looking for a woman who's accomplished. Like we said this, there's no one who's special. If you get on with a man, enjoy, have a good time. You know the reason why you're with them. But don't ever for a second think that, oh, sasa venye amekuja hapa kwangu hatoki. He's here, he will not find anybody else. I will make the best chapatis and the best. You keep on lying to yourselves every day. And then what happens? You fall flat on your face. Casanova, you're meeting Casanovas every day, and most of you are the women that Casanova had. You think that you're the one who's going to tame him. Nobody was ever to tame Casanova. Nobody was able to tame Casanova. Died a single man. So most of you are meeting Casanovas, you think that, oh, because you've married him now, he will be tamed. No. Still married, still has multiple women. If you found him with multiple women when you're dating, nothing is going to stop him, even when he gets married. Okay? So stop disturbing me with this conversion that you have this pity party, oh, he started doing. No. There's nothing special about you. It's not how juicy you think you are, how sweet you think yours is, how put together you think you are. Oh yeah, go collect your strokes, go collect your money if it's that what you want, and then enjoy it while it lasts. If it ends, it ends. don't think that there's anything you're going to do that is going to tempt people who don't want to be tempted. You can never tempt a man. Okay? Yeah, no this and no peace. Just be there, have fun, enjoy yourself, but maintain your head. Go to work, look for your paper, keep on traveling. Don't center anybody. I told you. Self-possession. Be self-possessed. Center yourself. Do things that make you laugh. Still attend to your friends. Go to date nights alone or solo dates. Travel alone. Keep making money. Keep showing up. Do things. Most of you women, the moment you get into you forget everything. You forget yourself and you lay your life down. There's only one Jesus Christ. Stop laying your life down on people who did not even ask for it, because we will put you on the cross and then we'll ask you, did we send you? Maybe that I supported, I helped, and then you come to the end of your life, and all that hard work has not been paid, has not been reciprocated. You'll be very angry. You'll be very resentful. You will not go, moisturize. You will have skincare routines, 10-step skincare routines, and glow. Some of us are just taking water and minding our business and enjoying a small bola here and there. We're enjoying bola here and there, and then we move on with life. Anyway, I'm not saying that this is the kind of life that you should take. But if you have a Casanova in your life, know that and know peace, okay? All right, cheers.
Join the live and comment LeBron James.
If a man has to insult you to get you to behave, then what he's trying to sell you is bullshit. Right? If a man needs to insult you to get his point across, or to get you to concur to something, what he's selling you is bullshit. Like, if the only way you can get me to behave is by insulting me, by telling me that I'm a 304 or that I'm bitter, then what you're selling me is not worth the price. If the only way you can get me to be in a relationship with you is to tell me that I'm lonely and bitter and depressed and a cat lady and telling me that I need protection from men, because that's what I need protection from, right? From you and others like you. But you can sell me this illusion of protection because you know who the real threat is, right? If you need to sell me some imaginary world in order to get me to behave and to abide by your laws, it's bullshit. Straight up bullshit. I learned this in high school because I questioned every male that came into my life and came into my space. Every single one. Those were dangerous boys. Dangerous. Thinking back on it, those were dangerous boys who probably grew into dangerous men. Right? Something I remember vividly is sitting in class and this boy calls me an ugly bitch, completely unprovoked. Completely unprovoked. And I asked him, why did you insult me? Why did you need to insult me? What is it that you're trying to get me to do? What is it that you need me to do? Why are you trying to get me to behave? Complete stranger to this boy. Didn't know me from a rock on the ground. But he felt like he needed to insult me. He saw something in me that I don't see in myself today. He saw a power in me, and he needed to make me feel powerless. Whew, Lord have mercy. I'm about to shout. Men need you to feel powerless so that they can feel powerful. Powerless women are good for the economy. They're good for the system of patriarchy. And anybody that does not abide by their laws is a threat to the patriarchy. Once I grew up and I stopped masking, I'd masked for over 10 years, right? I thought I knew who I was. And then I hit my early 30s and I was like, oh. It's like, oh, that's who I am. I do not like to behave. I enjoy misbehaving. Unless, of course, I'm in a dominant submission relationship. But yeah, beware of men who try to insult you. Beware of men who insult you. They are trying to get you to feel something. They're trying to get you to behave a certain way. Don't fall for it.
All right. Alex Serves Tea has been on this from the very beginning, from the jump. And I just want to show you more of just proving that Paris Hilton uses AI for herself and her family and her music and all of her things. I mean, she's literally coming out and saying this in her own words.
Products, even when I'm doing music, sometimes I'll like put it in there as well and be like, how would you make this sound even more like me?
What?
So it's really interesting. And I've actually been having an AI trained model, Paris Hilton one, that we've been training for several years now.
What?
Before anyone was really even talking about AI. So again, I've always been ahead of the curve in this area as well. And it's amazing to have something that knows me sometimes even better than I know myself, because it's studied every single thing I've done, everywhere I've been, every interview I've done, every book, song. So it knows so much about me. So it's really cool to be able to have fun with it. It's like having, not a clone, but a little bit.
She just said everything that we've been questioning for years. She just admitted to everything. She even said the word clone. I was shocked that she is just blatantly saying, yeah, I use AI. It knows me better than I know myself. Who says that? Number one. Number two, and I use it for everything. She ideates things with it. She generates mood boards with it. I would never say this about, I don't know when I would say this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I use it to make a song sound even more like myself. How do you do that? If you yourself sang something but you want a computer to make it sound even more authentic? What? This was all kinds of weird. I need my peaches to dig into this and find even more things that she's saying, because this is all I mean, that with her weird children, maybe they are just AI. I don't know. To be even more like Paris Hilton if she had offspring. Oh gosh, these people are weird.
The slogan can never be one great Caribbean until you acknowledge all of the anti-Haitian shit that you've said about Haiti. In the midst of the aftermath that took place from the catastrophic devastation of Hurricane Melissa for both Jamaica and Haiti, you see a lot of people from the Caribbean talking about it and basically, sending out their prayers and sending out their best wishes and everything like that. However, I recall a time when it was just Haiti that was going through all of these type of things, and there weren't so many kind wishes. In fact, there were people stating that we deserve this because we're cursed, that is because of voodoo. And now all of a sudden, everybody understands the concept of a natural disaster, that it just happens. Ironically, you've always understood the concept behind a natural disaster. You understood when it was Puerto Rico. You understood. You understand if it's DR. You understand if it's Jamaica. You understand, but when it's Haiti, no, it's cursed. It's because they do voodoo. That's what came out of your mouths. But now all of a sudden, it's all of the Caribbean needs to band together as one. Where was that energy when it was for us? Where are the videos of you guys saying that Jamaica's cursed? That it's because Jamaica does obia? Where are the videos? Where's that energy? If you are noticing the lack of presence in Haitians actually coming out and supporting Jamaicans publicly during this time, this is the reason why. I'm not saying that it's right, but it stems from somewhere. It comes from somewhere. Us Haitians wanting to distance ourselves from Jamaica, it comes from this. Because when it was Haitians, Jamaicans were laughing at us, saying that we deserved everything that we had coming because we were cursed, because we did voodoo. So just earlier this year, Jamaican refugees were seeking asylum in Jamaica. And you know what Jamaicans were saying? Get these Haitians out of our country. Get them out of our country. They're going to come over here and bring their gang stuff. They're going to come over here and bring their voodoo. Get them out of our country. That's what Jamaicans were saying. This is the country that is the closest in proximity to Haiti outside of DR. You understand? But this is what our brothers and sisters, this is what our cousins, this is what our neighbors were saying. So now when it comes to the whole, oh, we all need to band together, us Haitians are a little bit hesitant. We are. I have respect for Jamaica because I have respect for the ancestors of Jamaica. I don't really care too much about the current descendants of today. Outside of the people that I know that are exceptions to the rule, who have actually done the work to deconstruct that anti-Haitian rhetoric, that mindset, I don't really have much care for the current descendants of Jamaica today. The ancestors of Jamaica, however, they respected Haiti. They showed Haiti love. They showed Haitians love. They were true allies to Haitians. The Jamaicans of today, mm-mm. And what's even crazier to me is even though Haiti doesn't have much right now, we have the experience of being hit by catastrophic natural disasters, meaning we have the advice to be able to give to Jamaica right now. If only Jamaica actually worked on their part, on their end, in actually keeping the alliance that both of our ancestors worked so hard to establish. If the current Jamaicans of today didn't allow the colonizers, the British, to come in and just make them bad mind. If only. But here's the thing though. I know just like my Haitian people, the Jamaican people will find their way. They will find their way. They will. It's just, I know for a fact we both would have been able to find our way a lot faster if we were able to be united. But until that mindset, that anti-Haitian xenophobia that you have that runs rampant in the country of Jamaica, until that actually dies, it's never going to happen. It's never going to be one big Caribbean, okay? So go ahead and just say, pray for Jamaica, because I know that's really what you want to say. You really just want to say, pray for Jamaica. So do that. It's okay. Haitian people will be fine, like we always are.